Hello everyone and welcome to today's guide. We are going to be finishing out the Equites today, and we're going to start off with making some marble blocks, because they're going to be another major construction resource that you need going forward from here. Just want to mention to you guys that if you are new here, please consider checking out the channel. I'm very active and would love for you to be a part of our growing community. I stream this game on Twitch. Twitch link is right there in the description. Social medias as well. The entire schedule for my weeks are on my Discord if you'd like to go ahead and join. Totally up to you. But again, you're here for the guide first, and then you can make your decision after that. So, in the last video, if you were here and still keeping up with these particular videos, you will know that we got up to the togas, which togas are the last chain that require you to use concrete only. After this point, and excluding the brooches, we need to start having marble blocks. So how do you go ahead and get some marble blocks? As you see, we have 75 in here already, and that's because I've already gone ahead and made these for you. So I'm just going to show you how to do them, or how to really set them up, by showing what I myself have done. So, the marble is relatively simple. You are just going to need two specific structures, one of which is a marble quarry, and the other one is the marble mason. And do note that you definitely need to have Equites for the latter. With the former, you can have plebeians working in the mines. Okay? Problem is, you need to have a marble deposit on your island in order to extract and then later make it. So, we do not have one on this island, but I know for a fact that we have one over here on Capital Line. So that is where I have set up two of the marble quarries, which are indeed working for us. And if you look at their timers, it is a 1 minute to get the marble out there, and then it's a minute 30 to process it. But there's a little bit of a difference here with the marble masons. The marble masons provide you with a second buff. They provide you with a debuff and a buff. The debuff is a -1 health, which isn't really that fantastic. But the buff is +1 prestige. So if you were to put this in your settlement, every building around there would give you some prestige. Right now, it's not really doing much for us. I like to put these guys out there just as is. I feel them to be on par with the concrete makers anyway, so I feel putting them on the outskirts of a town is totally fine. But you may not want to do that. You may want to put them in your town, that way you can get some prestige out of it, and that's okay. But once you do have some marble blocks, which are going to be processing at a minute 30, I only have 2 going at any given time, and I feel like that's enough for them. If you want to overproduce, by all means you can, okay? I'm not telling you you can't, but do note, like, for example, the limestone quarry, that's 30 seconds as opposed to a minute processing time for the marble to come out of the ground, right? So once you do have some marble blocks, I want to turn your attention to the first one, being first of the productions we're going to talk about, being the writing tablets. Now, writing tablets are relatively simple to produce. You're going to need the Sandarak nursery, and you're also going to need the apiary for some honeycombs. Now, cool thing is, we have already been working on the ladder, being the apiaries on this island already, so they're doing just fine for us. And we have 2 set up. I did move that lavender farm from here over to here, and we're pretty much almost tapped out here. So we're at 249. That's pretty good. But the other one, the Sandarak nursery, we need to go and find that particular fertility. Again, we don't have it on our main island over here, but we did go ahead and colonize this island that does have it. And notice this island also definitely has minerals. We're going to talk about minerals here in a second, because we're also going to be discussing the fine glass. It's mighty fine, my friend. Mighty fine, mighty fine. So, talking about the Sandarak fertility, these are what the nurseries look like. Very pretty overall. Love the building. Love the entire ground. It's just nice. So I put them over up here. And they're going to be processing at a minute 30. So this is where you're going to find that a lot of the timers either become slower or they don't like to line up. Just, unfortunately, you have to get used to that little fact. And eyeball it. There are ways to make sure that you can balance it. But if you don't really want to get into all the nooks and crannies of that, what I've done right now is I've just built 2 Sandarak nurseries and have been shipping down the actual wood and the resource down to Ithaca, which if I go over here to the trade routes, it's right over here. So I have it set for both minerals and the Sandarak that's being loaded into this particular trade ship. But when you come down here and you want to now make it the writing tablets, you're going to go against this building and you're going to see the legit tabulous building itself, okay? And the tabulous building requires you to have 2 timber, 3 tiles, 1 ton of concrete, and 1 ton of marble blocks in order to make. Now, as you can see, I already built one right there. But I want to highlight over it again. Every building in this particular side, like over these guys, would be able to provide you with +1 knowledge from the tabulous working. So these guys are all benefiting from the fact that we have this thing going right there. The nearby tabulous +1 knowledge. And this is how you just continue to stack knowledge points going into late game. And the cool thing about the good itself, if we go ahead and bring this down and go over here to the household needs, the writing tablets are going to provide us with +2 income and +3 knowledge. So we're going to get an additional knowledge on top of that. So these homes that are right, the houses, excuse me, that are right around this tabulous are instead going to give us 4 knowledge. See how that works? And the 1 is doing just fine for us for now. If we want to increase it later on, absolutely we can. We are bringing in enough of the wood to make this so. And this is now exactly a 1-to-1 type situation. So we're not going to be overproducing on it. We're just balanced. So we are at 9 of the writing tablets right now. It'll gradually increase because I think their consumption, and I'm saying it that way in air quotes, of the actual writing tablet is less than, you know, the time that it takes for it to process one and put it into the warehouse. Hence why we have 9. Otherwise, that wouldn't even be possible. But that is the first startup. The second one is the fine glass. Now, you're looking at this and you're like, whoa, hold up. There's a lot more stuff happening over here. Let's just break it down. So you remember how I told you that island is really good having minerals on it? Well, there are 3 mine slots on here, and I have set each mine slot to extract minerals for us, because minerals after this point are going to be very important, even going into the Patricians after these guys. So they're going to be processing at a crisp 45 seconds, and then we're going to need a mineral crusher, which is going to take a minute, in order to start one portion of the fine glass. Do note that the mineral crushers do need plebeians, so we can in fact put the mineral crusher on this island and ship over the minerals themselves, but I personally don't like to do that because of this chain. I like to have a majority of the stuff on my main island. Like, for example, the raw resources here, you can get them from alternative sources. I could even have the sand refineries over here and then ship those down to the capital, but I decided to build them all the way over here anyway. And the sand nurseries, or sand guys, where the heck they even put them? I don't like sand. Again, it's coarse and rough and irritating and gets everywhere. In fact, I might be even bringing it down here anyway. That's salt. Let's see. Well, I do have... Oh, wait. I know where they are. They're over down here. Totally forgot that I had a harbor area over here. So I have the sand refineries working for me right now, and these guys are also at a crisp 45 seconds. But this is where it gets a little bit tricky. The next building is the glass smelter, which processes at a minute 30. So essentially, one of these sand refineries can equate to 2 glass smelters working at any given time. And the glass smelter needs a fuel requirement of charcoal in order to function, which is going to be a lot faster. You don't really have to, stress over the charcoal situation more than you think you do. If you just put down another charcoal burner, you should be fine. And in our particular situation, even though we're not overproducing on the charcoal, you can see that there are certain buildings that have fully tapped out. For example, with the tilers, hence why it's saying 4 of 6, and we're only processing at 4. Not a big problem. What we can do is go over here, find a nice little spot that has open ground-ish to an extent with a bunch of trees, like maybe right about here. Plop that thing down, build a road all the way to this warehouse, and then connect it up there. And now you have pretty much this chain set in stone. It's going to produce 1 second faster. I don't know. It's probably just the location. But do note later on you can get a perk that it'll essentially replant an area with trees, and then you won't have to really worry about this condition anymore. But now that we have another charcoal burner out there, these are what the glass smelters look like. And they have to be built on these river slots. And they're in fact pretty cool buildings. Problem is, it's a -2 flat on the fire safety, so we're going to be going down. Hence why I built them out here. We could have built them in our settlement over here, for example, right here, but it would really decrease the fire safety of the entire settlement, and we do not want that. We, in fact, want to try to boost those as much as possible. We don't want to have massive infernos. I mean, what crazy person enjoys doing that? I mean, totally not me. Anyway, moving on. So once you have those two set up, the mineral crusher being right over here, this is what this building looks like, which is really, really pretty. Obviously, -3 on the health because of all those toxic fumes that are getting up into the air. But then the final building here is the glass blower. And the glass blower is a very nice looking building in and of itself. I like the fact that it has a little area out in the front. Oh, someone just broke something. That you can go and purchase glass from. And we do this RP-wise, right? Problem is with this building, it is a -2 on the fire safety and +2 on the prestige. So it's got a buff and a debuff. This is where you can make that executive decision as to whether you want to put such a thing in your settlement or not. And for my purpose right now, I am okay with it being out here for the most part, because I don't, again, want to increase or decrease the fire safety of my settlement. That is a big no-no. And it is important, in my humble opinion, when you reach this point, to provide both of these goods to your Equites, because they are going to pay an arm and a leg for them. I say that respectfully with regards to how much money you're making, because this game, you're not going to be making thousands upon thousands upon thousands like how you had in Anno 1800s, or even getting into the millions, not unless you have like a crazy amount of, you know, Patricians everywhere and they're getting all their goods, which is really damn difficult later on. But do note that you're getting +2 income from the writing tablets and then +3 income from the fine glass. So that's 5 per household. That's pretty damn good. Do note that you're also getting some income from the olive oil, but not from the amphorae, because that's just more for population's sake. So overall, you're doing relatively well. But now comes my favorite part. The part in which you are going to see very, very big buildings, and they are going to be insanely awesome to witness. And you remember how, if you guys watched my aqueduct guide, I mentioned that there are buildings later on that require you to have a cistern nearby? What the Equites require are marvels, in the form of, no pun intended, a forum, which is going to give everyone a +2 population boost, +2 income, and +3 prestige. All flat buffs. And or a bathhouse, which is going to, again, increase the population size. But in this case, instead of income, it's going to change it. The health is going to increase. And instead of prestige, the fire safety is going to increase. Overall, pretty damn good. But you want to see how large these damn buildings are? Absolutely you do. Let's start with the forum. That's going to cost you a whopping 35,000 in order to even build. So this is what the forum looks like, and it has a huge area of effect. Look at that. It is essentially getting our entire settlement over here. And we definitely want to build this. You want to ensure that you build a forum and a bathhouse. Both of them are crazy powerful. So, without further ado, here's the first big marvel you're going to be putting down. And look at how much of a population you have now. Population went up, the balance is going up, and the building itself is awesome. Now, again, this does require you to have a cistern nearby, which it doesn't need to exactly hug it, but this aqueduct right over here has now reached its limit. Not only is it providing stuff for them, it is also helping out over here, which unfortunately does not have a water supply. That's not good. And it's also providing all the way to here. But avoid this for now. I highly doubt you're going to run into this particular situation. I think if we were to tactically get rid of this, then that one is still going to function for us. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this aqueduct line. Not a big deal. So that is the first marvel. I don't know what the heck he's wanting here. Non-aggression? Sure. Trade? Sure. Okay. The second building is the bathhouse. And again, you definitely want to make sure that you build both of these. And the bathhouse, in my opinion, is nicer than the Forum. Look at this thing. It is awesome. And we can put it here, but as you can see, it's not going to get the entire settlement just based off of where we put it, but it's getting a vast majority of the Equites themselves. So this one, on the other hand, is going to cost you 40,000, and you need to have a cistern nearby, again, in order to build this. So hopefully, the cistern that I have built over here is going to be close enough. Let's see what happens. If the cistern isn't close enough, then it will tell you almost immediately, but thankfully, we do have one close by, so that means that this building is now working, and look at your population size, my friend. It has increased by a metric ton. Isn't that awesome? And now these guys are getting both of their Marvel requirements because the Forum was already built, and now the Bathhouse is being built. And as that's going, you'll notice that the Equites are still going up. Now, let's see how much that other aqueduct still has in it. It has 45. I don't like the fact that this side is not benefiting from a bathhouse. You don't only need to build one. I want my people to be squeaky clean. Essentially, no health issues here, period, the end, period. And because we have 360 Libertas over here, I'm just going to tactically get rid of these individuals, fix up this section of the road so it looks nicer, and then go back to the Equites and build an entire second bathhouse that's going to cover the other side of my settlement. Boom. And it's right next to it. And the reason why we're doing this is immediately why this populist research popped up. I don't always remember where the hell it even is, but sometimes I think it was right there. Okay, so in order to get down into this section of the chain and to go through these little checkpoints, you need to fulfill certain conditions. Populist research over here says that you need to build 2 bats or 2 forums and produce at least 2070 knowledge in order to continue down through the civic path, which is what we just did. So that is why we've built a second one here. Again, you don't have to do them in rapid succession because that essentially was 80,000 denarii that I just spent on these 2 buildings alone, plus resources. But as you can see, our island health right now is plus 1.2 thousand. The island happiness is at 514. That will also increase significantly later on. And right over here, the island fire safety is at a whopping 1.1 thousand. Why are we low on this? It is because of the cloth. Okay, great. Love to see it. But the time is now to see what the final tier over here in Latium is all about. And right now, we can upgrade them. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Patrician classes, and guess what? They do not get easier. There we go. So, very, very easy to set up the last bits of the chain. Again, the most difficult part of the Equites is pretty much the togas, in my honest opinion. But the ones after that, they are relatively simple because the tabulus has been working very well since we put it down. The fine glass does tend to get a little bit wonky from time to time. And by wonky, I mean it essentially will not produce enough for the people just based off of its timers. You have to guess. The main problem is the glass smelter. Main problem is the glass smelter and the glass blower itself, because you want to put these away from your settlement, and like it's by a sheer miracle that we have these spots open to us. If you don't, and you're on a smaller island, you're going to have to brave it and deal with the island fire safety over time. But do note that the fine glass is something that you want to get right over the tabulus, in my opinion. You're going to get more money out from these guys. And then, obviously, building both a forum and a bathhouse is going to be fantastic. All of these are going to work very, very well, and your settlement is looking beefy as is. We now have the Patricians here. We're going to start talking about them in not probably in the next video. I think in the next one, I'm going to start really talking about the whole military mechanics of the game, specifically with land combat, because we are at a point that I can showcase all the different units and, well, a majority of the units. There's one that's kind of tied behind a certain devotion level. But for the most part, this is how you navigate through the Equite force into Patricians. And Patricians are where the money is. So if you played Anno 1800, you'll note that they're kind of like the equivalent of mix engineers and investors together, you get patricians. But it also helps getting up into Albion to bring a whole bunch of the other goods down for us. So we might hold off on the Patrician guide for some time until we go up to Albion. I explain how things are run up there and how we can bring some trade resources down here like cheese, the brooches, all those things really, really, really spike up our population, finances, all that good stuff to be stable and continue expansion. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It was really, really awesome. If you need clarification on anything, you think I went a little bit fast through this, please let me know. I will definitely explain any part of it that you would like. But until next time, my friends, thank you so much. Please consider like, commenting, subscribing, hitting that bell button, sharing it with your friends. And I'll catch you in the next one, my Rantians.